Hi everyone, this is Meenakshi Ramesh from captivatetohealing.com. I continue with the April Autism Awareness series of videos with another guest today with me. He's my son, my elder son, my older one. His name is Shiva Kannan, and he's here with me today as we talk about a few things in general about autism spectrum and how it feels and what it takes to be a sibling. He's an older sibling of a brother who is on the autism spectrum. All right. So, thank you, Shiva, for taking the time to do this with me tonight. My first
Thank you
question
for
to
having
you
me.
would be,
Appreciate it.
you're welcome. My first question, can you talk about one gift or strength of autism that you see being an older sibling of someone who is on the autism spectrum?
Yeah, for sure. So I think one of the biggest things that I see generally with people on the spectrum is that they have this sense of purity with them, that everything and everything they think, everything they do, there's a lot of like heart that they bring. And there are no underlying emotions of that you're trying to hide something or trying to keep something aside. They're very open and pure with their intentions, and I think that's something as neurotypical people we can learn and really try to incorporate in our lives as well. I think it's very inspiring to see that.
Awesome. So, in other words, they don't have any agenda behind, you know, they don't have any agenda in their, or motive in their interactions or the way they interact with the world. Thank you for
Exactly.
sharing
Right.
that. Yes. My next question is, can you talk about one of the biggest obstacles, challenges you face? Um, Again, having seen so many people on the spectrum, and again, being a sibling who has a sibling for someone who has special needs.
Yeah. So biggest thing is probably growing up, you kind of realize that as an older sibling, life is very different. Life is going to be very different. And I feel like I sort of realized that at a very young age. Uh, I think as soon as the diagnosis was given, and maybe within 6 months to a year, I realized that, okay, this is something that's probably going to be with us for the rest of our lives. And I think one of the things is that it's hard to really talk about this stuff with other people. And you always feel like you can't really explain what's going on at home because you have a little bit of fear, right? Where, oh, okay, I want to protect my brother. I don't want anyone to really, talk bad about him, or I don't really know how to explain this to them so they'll understand. And it's always that constant fear of, being judged, and it mainly comes out of the feeling that you want to really protect your sibling, right? And other people on the spectrum. You don't want people to say things about them. But as I grow older and as I, mature, I feel that it's important to first accept Sudarshan, accept people for who they are. And it's okay if other people don't necessarily understand and accept. Uh, it's up to them, and we can't really force anyone to accept or try to understand what's going on with us. So I think that's a big thing, acceptance.
Thank you, Shiva, for sharing that. It's very true. And whether you're an older sibling or a younger sibling, um, we this is a topic that I we discuss among parents all the time. That and as parents, we also feel that at some point the siblings become like parents themselves, even though parents do not expect that or do not say that in so many words. The energy in the house, in the household, can send a message to the sibling that it's on them as well. And I can totally relate to the acceptance and the acceptance part, and how difficult it is for a sibling, not just a sibling, for anyone to come to terms with autism and to be able to be comfortable with themselves and among and in the world around them. So
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with you. So this was my last and final question, but you can feel free to share anything that comes to your mind. One word or phrase you want to share with someone who does not know anything about autism.
Mm, uh, oh, it's a tough one, I think. There are a lot of words that come to mind, but I think, I mean, anything that I think what I would want to convey is probably like kindness, for example. Um, and some maybe intuition as well, just to sort of like, if people can kind of, gauge and understand what's going on, and just to, just they don't have to say it in words that they support you, but just sort of in their actions or maybe their gestures, if they just know like, hey, I understand what's going on, it's cool, something like that, definitely.
Thank you for sharing that, Shiva. Anything else that you want to add? Please feel free to share anything that's in your mind. Again, that's
Sure.
about autism or anyone on the spectrum. Any experiences that you want to share, feel free to share.
Sure. I was actually going to also ask you, kind of like as a parent, how did it feel for you when the diagnosis was, you first heard the diagnosis? And I think it's been about now 19 to 20 years since that happened. So can you kind of go talk about how you felt, what kind of emotions were running in your mind during that time?
Yeah, it's it's a lot of grief, a sense of loss. Um, uh, it felt like my whole world turned apart. Um, I often describe this experience as you're just standing on a rug and someone pulls the rug from underneath your legs. That's how I felt. So these were just the first initial emotions, a sense of shock, and a sense of loss. It was a sense of shock, not a sense of shock. It was a shock. So yeah, it was like I said, my whole world turned apart, and um, I'm not even getting the words as to how it was.
Mhm.
And I am one of those people who really likes to um, I cannot say likes to who who revisits the past, just being an observer of it and how, because it always helps me how far I have come in this journey with my son. So these were my initial emotions. I also felt helpless, hopeless, and powerless. Those were my primary emotions. I felt them from time to time, even though I had the support. There was a support system. There is all the resources, everything. But it was just a sense of, you know, um, just not feeling that hope, even though I was navigating the system, navigating everything, and trying to get everything in place for my son. That's the feeling I had. And now, when I look back, it's been quite a journey. Um, I don't feel those feelings anymore. I don't feel that helpless, hopeless, powerless feelings. I cannot say I don't feel that at all, but
Mhm.
it just comes and goes. But I feel I'm I've come to terms and I'm more at peace with whatever is happening right now. And I also, again, I look back and I just notice that this is a journey. I recognize that this is a journey, and um, I'm really beginning to be appreciative. I am beginning to appreciate the little wins, the little joys, not having too many expectations along the way. And I will continue to do everything that, that, that it takes to help my son navigate this journey. But I feel a lot of peace around this whole issue. And when you were talking about acceptance, I recognized, I now I realize in this journey that I have come to love and accept myself first. And the more I have been doing that, the easier it has been for me to help my son and help myself and help everyone around me. That's a very long answer.
No,
And
no, awesome.
I didn't
No,
expect this question, so I just like, yeah, I just said,
no,
was
yeah. And
as spontaneous as I can be.
no, I think to also add to what you were saying, I do feel like, yeah, a lot of responsibility definitely it did come on your shoulders. And I think, Appa and myself, right? I think we, at least moving forward now, and hopefully we've been trying to be more cognizant and trying to help out more whenever we can. But a huge thank you to you. And I think it definitely is like saying from the heart, it's something that you have really like contributed very greatly to where Sudarshan is now. It's definitely because of you. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you, Shiva. Thank you so much for saying that. It really means a lot. Anything else you want to share, or you just want to wrap up?
I think yeah, I think about the acceptance as well, right? Was there also, I think when the diagnosis happened, right, I think we were sort of associating with like a certain circle of friends, and then that kind of all of a sudden stopped, right? And I mean, which makes sense, right? Because everything just changed so drastically, and we had to find a different support system. So, could you maybe talk a little bit about that? I know it was hard for me because, like, we had been associating with, like, we've been hanging out so frequently with that group, and all of a sudden it just stopped, right? And then now we were kind of in a different place. It sort of felt lonely, right?
Right. Um, right. So like I said, as I was feeling all these helpless, hopeless, powerless feelings, I literally shut down and we completely stopped socializing even till we
Yeah.
found, our own support system, our own tribe, and it took some years for us to get there. So yeah, it was very tough. Excuse me. And now that I
No
look
worries.
back, I feel we all need that time, when we go through some, I mean, each of us, each individual processes emotions very differently. For some, they can just um, move on, with ease, or move on with that pushing and efforting energy. But for some, they really need the time to grieve and to really be by themselves and to process what was coming. So now that I look back, I I feel it was, even though it was lonely, we felt lonely. It was a little difficult. Um, I think we also, as a family, we grew, we became resilient, we bonded, and with all the ups and downs, it was a great learning experience for all of us. But for you being, because you are also very young, I totally can understand the stress and the overwhelm it must have been very confusing for you. So in a way, you grew up very fast, you were forced to grow up fast, and you were like, forced to um, be take care of things on your own. And we have discussed this very many times. And any siblings watching this, any family uh, watching this with their siblings, this is a video for all of you. What Shiva and myself we are talking. It's just it's for each and every one of you. And I would like all of you to speak up and share what is in your mind with your friends, with your family, and even though it may feel like it's just going back and reliving those difficult moments, sometimes it's good to do that, because that's how we release the stress and the overwhelm out of our system.
Definitely.
Is that a Did I answer your question, Shiva?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think very good point about how we all take different different amounts of time to process and grieve and kind of come to terms with certain things. And yeah, I think as much as it is sometimes hard, and it has been hard, I think I would not trade this for anything else. I am the person I am today because of meeting these people and being around these people. And yeah, like if I've learned anything about being like a kind person, it's because of Sudarshan, and it's because of everyone else that I've met through the process of this. So I'm eternally grateful for that.
Beautifully said, Shiva. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so
And,
much. Yeah.
yeah, be the person you are always, and um, try to put the good out there and make good things come back to you.
You likewise.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shiva. Thank you. Let's
Thank
stop.
you. Thank you again for having me in this. Yeah. And I've really enjoyed the series thus far watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.